All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner, Giants Nation show, doing a mock draft for the New York Giants. Going to go through all of their picks. This is actually usually I do four every year. I do one during in the midseason and during the bye week, and then usually I do one pre-free agency. But I kind of got married, and that's was a little busy with that. And then I do one to start draft month on April 1st, and then I was kind of busy on the first of the month. So putting this one out, and then we'll do one final one on the day of the draft, which is always my favorite one. So, but now we have the comp picks and all that. So let's go through it. I mean, the Giants have 8 draft picks. They have the number 3 overall, second, 2/3, a fourth, a fifth, and 2 sevenths, and we'll go how they acquired. Go through how they acquired all of those when we get to them. Pick 3, obviously, really important for the Giants. Are they going to take quarterback? Are they going to take Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter? It looks like Cam Ward is not going to be available. He'll be number 1 at the Titans. So first, before I get in all to this, like and subscribe. Got to build that subscribership up. My goal is by the end of draft month, and we finish the UDFA reviews and everything, I want 37,000 subscribers. That's my goal. So please like and subscribe, or like and subscribe. This is a like and subscribe channel. Things with mock drafts. One, I don't do trades in mock drafts just because it's not real. They're not realistic trades, and it's just hard to predict trades. And then just a couple other things, like obviously you make exceptions for the quarterback position, right? You don't force a quarterback, but like quarterback's more valuable than edge rusher or whatever if you believe in that QB. So it's not true BPA, but need does not matter that much to me. Now, when you're a bad team like the Giants, so need usually you can match need with best player available, but it does matter somewhat. But for the large part, you just don't look back at drafts and wish oh, I can't believe we didn't fill that hole. No, you go back and you look at the player that was drafted 4 picks after and is a better player, especially when you get to day 3 on the draft, where those guys becoming starting level players is so hard to find. So let's get into it. The New York Giants 2025 draft month mock draft, round 1, pick 3. Cam Ward went 1. The Tennessee Titans. I took him in the midseason mock draft, and Cam Ward is who I want. The Browns, and I put a poll up for this, like who's the most likely to go to the Browns. Abdul Carter from Penn State. Number 2 goes number 2 overall. And number 3, I am taking Colorado cornerback / wide receiver Travis Hunter, 6 foot, 188 pounds. We're going to talk about the decision to pass up on Shador, but let's talk about Travis Hunter first. One, you guys don't need me to tell you a ton about Travis Hunter. He's a Heisman Trophy winner as a cornerback and wide receiver, the two-way player. The thing that when I just watch him, the first thing that's easy is just like, man, he just has loose hips. Like, it's just easy. He's just an easy mover no matter what he's trying to do. And he's able to just pounce as a corner. He's able to win leverage as a wide receiver. What do you do with him, Bobby? My take isn't unique. I think it's you play him cornerback full-time, because that's a position that you need like more of the full-time attention. And then you give him a wide receiver package, right? It's a lot, you don't need to, you don't need to be great on all, 50 plays per game to be a good wide receiver. You do to be a corner. So you give him a package, and you have a Malik Neighbor. So there's not, you're not having this desire or this need for a wide receiver 1 on the team. But, a package of 20 players or whatever. And if that doesn't work, you go and let him play corner full time. And if that doesn't work, then you let him go play wide receiver full time. Like, he's kind of one of those fail-safe prospects where even he could fail at one position in the NFL, you just move him to another one, and it's not just tackle to guard. But as a corner, which I think should be his primary position with those ball skills, is he in man coverage, he's a beast, right? Like, he's physical for his size. There's times where he's putting wide receivers on his ass the way he jams them, and anytime he's got a chance to put hands on guys, he's very comfortable doing it. He's patient. He has the ability to recover so quickly. He fights for leverage, the great ball skills. I mean, you see the highlight plays for him, and it's just special. Now, he's not perfect, right? There's times where he gives up slants, right? Because he's too patient, he lets those slants get away from him. There's times where I saw bigger wide receivers get, contested catches on him. I think his tackling at times is really bad, and he takes chances in the run game. And if you're going to be a full-time corner in the NFL, that's a big part of it. But you're getting a guy who's gonna turn over the ball with you, and then you pair him with a Paulson and Debo, and you can start calling a pretty fun defense trying to get that ball back in your offense's hands. And then as a wide receiver, again, he's just got a natural feel for leverage, and then being able to go up and make plays as a leaper, use quick releases, and and burn guys deep. There's still some sloppiness to it, but just a fantastic player. Now I will say my big board for the Giants is Cam Ward 1, and then Abdul Carter 2. But again, I get two A+ players in the draft, and I get one of them in there. And I know the Abdul Carter injury stuff. I try to keep myself separated from that, but that's obviously in play here too. So, but the question is me like, you didn't take a quarterback, Bobby. You did not take Shador Sanders. Why not? And the simple answer is I just don't think he's very good. I did a 45-minute film breakdown on him that is out on this channel. Uh, his arm talent and his lack of athleticism. Those are the things that people bring up first with Shador. I don't think they should be. It's not a reason why I wouldn't draft him. He has an NFL arm, and he's not a total rock in the pocket. He can move around a bit. He can make a guy miss here and there. He's obviously not going to be this huge advantage to him, but he can do it. My issue is that with that arm talent and lack of athleticism, he's not someone that I believe processes really good or has this great anticipation over the middle of the field. I think that because of the completion percentage and because that lack of just talent, I think people just kind of put those things on him as his superpowers when in reality his greatest strength is his accuracy. He's very, very accurate, especially throwing the ball down the field. So it's not that I don't think Shador Sanders could ever work in the NFL, and I think he's going to last, right? He's accurate. He doesn't turn over the ball too much. And he's got like some confidence in his game, but it's just I don't see him as a good post-snap processor. Anytime they throw disguised coverages, I thought he was very late. His anticipation was meh. So if those things are bad, well, what am I betting on here, right? I'm betting on you hopefully becoming like a consistently top 12 quarterback. Like I feel like that's not the ceiling, but the realistic ceiling for Shador. And again, it's the fact that he doesn't process well, anticipate. He takes all those bad sacks. And then on top of that, well, he doesn't have the physical traits that you go and bet on. But again, he does have NFL talent. Anyone telling you he doesn't have NFL talent is wrong. It's just I don't think we have great quarterback talent with great quarterback process. You kind of got to have one or the other for me to take a chance. But excited about Hunter, to join the Giants. So I think that's a pretty good pick, right? Round 2, pick 34. We got that corner / wide receiver named Travis Hunter out of Colorado, tipping off my picks. Round 2, pick 34. I'm going Oregon defensive tackle Derek Harmon, 6'4", 313 pounds. I had 5 sacks and 11 tackles for a loss last season for Oregon. He's Oregon to New York. Stop, Bobby. He's a run defending defensive tackle who I think gives you pass rush juice, right? Like the first thing you notice is just a quick first step that he has. The way that he takes on each run play is just so fun to watch for me, right? Like there's times where he wins with quickness, penetrating gaps or working laterally. He uses his hands. He has strong hands. They're fast hands. He clubs offensive linemen off of him. And he's just got like a great knack for stalling double teams and shedding them. You can move him all over the defensive line. So he's not someone you got to just plug in one position. You can put him over a tackle. And his feet and hands they just always are working in unison in both the pass rush and the run game. But the run game's where you see him. You can use him as a stunter, as a pass rusher, but he has that quickness where he's going to give you pass rush juice. I don't think he has like these nasty bull rush reps where he's getting under a guy where he's ever going to be this great pass rusher. His wins usually are off of quickness. But again, I think he's someone who's given you pass rush juice, and then as a run defender, like can just make some plays. Now he misses a lot of tackles. And there's times where like this is spectacular, just makes an offensive lineman look silly. He's there. He's squaring up with the back in the hole, and the back is able to bounce out, or just he's not able to get his arms around him and bring him to the ground. So obviously not a perfect player, but fortunately defensive tackle is a strength of this draft. And maybe we're not done there, but it's a huge need for the Giants as well. So like right now, Jeremiah Ledbetter is their second best defensive tackle, in my opinion, on the team. And if you want to argue with me, make a case for Roy Robertson Harris or Nacho, right? It's just showing how bad that spot is next to Dexter Lawrence. But I love being able to get a best player available defensive tackle at the top of the second instead of the third or fourth, right? Again, we talked before. We're not going to force needs, but I love that the best player available is showing up in the second round for that defensive tackle spot. And again, maybe we're not done there because hopefully he can step in and make this unit a real strength, right? Defensive tackle is extremely weak because of because of everyone outside of Dex. But now you get Dex, a top of the second round player, and Derek Harmon, and then you got your edge rushers, and then you got a front four that you can feel comfortable with. So round 2, pick 34, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. All right, round 3, pick 65, and I'm staying on the trenches, and I'm going Arizona offensive lineman Jonah Sava-Inaya. I looked at the pronunciation. It looks like Savania, but it's Sava-Inaya. 6'4", 324 pounds, out of Arizona. An offensive tackle who is going to move inside in the NFL. And he's one of the few guys who just says, yeah, I'm going to move inside, where a lot of guys feel like they have to have this pride point of like, no, I am tackle. But he's going to move inside in the NFL. He doesn't have NFL offensive tackle foot speed, but his pass protection, his film is really good outside of some here and there reps where you see the lack of foot speed maybe not show up on a outside in move, but like his pass protection like film is really good. Like he's got a really stout and base consistent footwork and pass protection, a nice quick punch where he's not leaning or anything. He's got to get he has to get better with his hand usage because guys will time him up in the NFL if he's just throwing the same punch. So he's got to do some more, get more advanced with his hands. But in the run game, and this is why I think he's a third rounder, and it's not just because he plays guard. The run game, he should be better than what he is. Like there's flashes of greatness as a run blocker, right? Like he'll destroy a double team, right? Just get, hip to hip with the guard, and they will drive a guy back, right? He'll do a great job hammering into a defensive lineman's hip, knocking him down a gap, and then getting to the second level. He works great in space, but in single blocks, he's just kind of cookie cutter in his approach. Like he's working on a bag and not a human being and a defensive lineman who they do things to shed you, right? They do things to try and refight a leverage where he's just kind of like working a bag drill. He's just got to get better with his like feel for leverage and hand usage because he should be a better run blocker than what he is. But I'm pretty confident in him as a pass protecting guard in the NFL. And the run game can improve, doesn't mean it will, but because he has the athleticism and strength to do it. But round 3, pick 65, Arizona offensive lineman Jonah Sava-Inaya. All right, round 3, pick 99, a comp pick from Xavier McKinney and Ben Bredesen combined. I'm going to do something that I've never done, and also do something that I've done this will be the third time in a mock draft. I'm taking a quarterback, right? I've only taken a quarterback twice else in other mock drafts. I took Cam Ward in this most recent bye week mock draft, and I took Jaden Daniels in last year's bye week mock draft. And what I am so against, which is taking day 2 and day 3 QBs because I have the numbers to back it up, but I'm doing it. I'm taking Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. I mean, you guys know Milroe. Milroe is an elite athlete who has a big arm that you're just stashing and hoping you can turn into something a year or two down the road, right? You're not drafting this guy with delusions of grandeur that this guy's going to save the franchise. It's just this is a swing, right? I know that word swing gets thrown around, but I feel like this is an acceptable spot to just take a swing because he's an athlete. But at the same time, he had 16 passing touchdowns and 11 interceptions last year. He only completed 20 passes twice in 2024. Now, that's not because he had a horrible completion percentage in every game, but they didn't ask him to do a lot of throwing because of his limitations as a thrower. But he also had 900 rushing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. Watching him run is just special. And you'll see some big throws on his tape. But the offense, they just did not trust him. And whenever they did ask him to do some stuff, like the quick game, it was rare and it was bad. And he lacks accuracy on those throws, right? He's just not precise. And he has to, that's what we're asking him to do. And better at the game, get back. He was very much a 1, 2, check down or run, right? It was pretty simple what they put on his plate. And I saw him there at pick 65 and considered it, but having an offensive lineman that I really liked there was just too tempting. But like I said, this does go against what I preach is day 2 and day 3 picks at the quarterback spot are a wasted pick. Um, from 2017 to 2023, won't use last year's, too early to judge. Day 2 quarterbacks have a 1 out of, and let's just judge it on a top 20 quarterback in the NFL. Like, has ever been a top 20, like had a top 20 season. 1 of 15 hit rate on day 2 with Jalen Hurts being the one hit. Now, that was a very big hit, but I think Milrow kind of falls into the same category where, it's like this really good athlete. Milrow's a better athlete, but Hurts was also a much better passer coming out. I mean, he was in the Heisman Trophy ceremony at Oklahoma. And then day 3 quarterbacks is even worse. So it's a 1 of 41 hit rate with Brock Purdy being, the only hit on there. But again, I'm betting on the skill set with Jalen Milrow, or not even betting, just taking a chance. So, but I mean, watching him run is legitimately special, but the passing game is so underdeveloped. And I hate to say this because people like get mad at you, but like if just 2 years from now it's just not working out, like legitimately try him at running back. There's been other quarterbacks who have made a position change and it worked out well for them. I don't know if it's happened at running back outside of Denard Robinson in recent history, and Robinson wasn't a great back. He had Logan Thomas, play tight end, Terrell Pryor go to wide receiver, but I would try it out. And having a pick 6 picks later, and guys I like on the board made me feel more comfortable with the selection. So taking a true swing on a really nice talent in Jalen Milrow that we got to develop. Kicking off day 3 with round 4, pick 105, just 6 picks after, taking the quarterback Jalen Milrow. And I'm going Virginia Tech defensive tackle Aeneas Peebles, 6 foot, 282 pounds. He's an undersized defensive tackle, but he's a guy who just wins, right? He has good film. He has the second highest pass rush win rate in the defensive tackle class, only to Omar Norman Lott from Tennessee, who played at, more of a part-time role for them. And then Derek Harmon, who we already drafted at was 3rd in the class. Again, he's undersized, but he can rush the passer. Like, he plays with just a consistent forward lean, right? So he's just going to test offensive linemen consistently because he's going to get upfield, right? So you got to get out of your stance. You got to be ready. And if you're over aggressive, that's where he'll work, his quickness and his lateral moves. He's got like fairly quick hands and like a nice pass rush bag. Like, he's not just a one-trick pony. He has multiple pass rush moves. He's flexible where he's able to bend. And then in the run game, you're like, oh, well, he's undersized. Like, he sure is. And obviously the NFL is a different game, but I think his run game is good film. Like, he fights for leverage consistently against double teams, and because of how quickly he gets off the ball, he just gets in the guy's chest, and it's hard. Like, it's hard to get movement when that happens to you. And then you put him in one-on-one situations, like, he's going to have quick initial wins. So again, obviously size isn't great, but I feel like he's put up good film as a pass rusher and as a run defender. And we got Derek Harmon. You have Dexter Lawrence. Now we can start trying to add different, flavors to that defensive tackle group and guys who are just going to have a role and fill that role well. And I think that's what Peebles does for the Giants. Next pick, we're in round 5, pick 154. This pick actually comes from the Seahawks in the Leonard Williams trade. The Giants lost their 5th round pick to the Panthers in the Brian Burns trade. So this comes over for Leonard Williams. And I'm getting a guy I fell in love with at the Senior Bowl, and was actually even talking with the scout in the stands because I said something. He's like, oh, yeah, he can play some ball. And that is Oklahoma safety Billy Bowman Jr. Now, he's 5'10", 192 pounds. He only has 28.5-inch arms. He is undersized, but at Oklahoma the last 3 years, he's had 11 interceptions and 8 pass breakups, and it's not luck. Like, this guy has ball skills, right? We added Travis Hunter. We have Paulson Adebo. Like, let's go get a guy who can play some ball and Billy Bowman Jr. And again, I said I fell in love with him at the Senior Bowl. And he's someone that you just put all over the field, right? He gives you some, deep safety. You can put him at nickel. Like I said, he's versatile to play deep box or nickel despite his size. Now, the size does give him limitations. It's not nothing, right? Like, you put him one-on-one with a big tight end that quarterback likes to give some shots. Like, there will be some issues being able to challenge that, but and other areas, he's just super smart and instinctive in zone. He's so eager to undercut and make plays in man coverage. And you're bringing him in again. This is a fifth round pick. We're just trying to find good players, but like the immediate thing is, hopefully he can be that third safety, come in battle with Dane Belton for that role, or work to be the backup nickel corner to Drew Phillips. Just again, I think a guy who is going to be a solid player in the NFL and is going to find production. He'll have limitations, but a guy who is going to find production here in the fifth round, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go Oklahoma safety Billy Bowman Jr. So now we've hit round seven. Round seven, pick 219. The Giants don't have a sixth-round pick because of the Boogie Basham trade. And guess what I'm doing? I'm triple dipping. I got the triple dipper, and I'm going defensive tackle out of Florida, Cam Jackson or Cameron Jackson. And guess what? We got a different flavor with Aeneas Peebles, right? Undersized, quick, pass rusher. Well, guess what? We're getting the opposite. 6'6", 328 pounds, over 34-inch arms. This dude is big and he is strong. He's strong. Now, he gives you no pass rush value, but again, he's a big, strong son of a gun in the run game. And he needs a lot of like refinement in it, right? His footwork is messy. It's like he's got strong hands, right? He'll ragdoll a center, but he just, doesn't always like string anything together. But he can just take up gaps and get wins and like straight up just dominate offensive linemen in the run game. And for his size, like he's actually got a little bit of juice where he can close on a run back and make a big hit. That Tennessee game, there was multiple games worth like that. But what he does is he gives you a nose tackle to play behind Dexter Lawrence, and you could put him, on some rundowns, and you let Dexter Lawrence slide out the three technique outside the guard. But again, someone that needs refinement, but I like getting a guy who's got like some potential that we could get out of Andre Patterson as the D-line coach instead of like these DJ Davidson, Jordan Rileys, where it's like, yeah, but it's just they're kind of meh at what they are. They got size, but they're meh. Let's give him a guy who's got size, but like has some juice where like you can really see him like this guy can turn into one of the best run stopping defensive tackles in the NFL. Again, he's never going to give you any pass rush value, but he can turn into that. And I would love to take a chance on that. And again, we got Derek Harmon, right? Your do-it-all guy, Aeneas Peebles, who, is more of a pass rusher, undersized. And then we get the run guy. Like, that'd be really nice to have, a big money defensive tackle in Dexter Lawrence. And then you get three guys who, be here on rookie deals for 4 years. So I'm going Cam Jackson, 6'6", 328-pound defensive tackle out of Florida, with round 7, pick 219. All right, we're finishing off this draft with round 7, pick 246. This pick comes back from the Bills in the Boogie Basham trade. We gave up their R6. We got their 7th back. And I'm going to do another thing that I've never done before in a mock draft. And maybe Talking Giants version of Bobby would be like, you stupid nerd. This is a waste of time. And punch me in the face for this pick. But I actually am in love with this pick because guess what I'm doing to finish this draft off? I'm going Florida State kicker Ryan Fitzgerald, 5'11", 193 pounds. He has not missed an extra point the last 2 years. He's only missed one in the last 3 seasons. And then on his just regular field goals, he's 32 of 34 over the last 2 seasons. That's 94% for those without their calculators in front of them. And it was 100% last year. He only kicked 13 field goals last year, but 100%. And he was 5 for 5 on 50-plus yarders with a career long of 59 yards. So the Giants can cut Graham Gano and save some cap space. I mean, the Giants literally at the time of this recording have the lowest cap space in the NFL again. Right? We keep on finishing, getting to the draft, and the Giants have the least amount of free agents cap space. The Giants can save over $3 million in cap by cutting Graham Gano, another Florida State kicker. So hopefully it works there. So to recap this draft, passed up on Shedeur Sanders when Travis Hunter, the two-way Heisman Trophy winner out of Colorado at pick 3, started off day 2. Let's hit the trenches. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. Let's put him next to Dex. Then we go Jonah Savainaya out of Arizona, a tackle who we're going to move into guard Doesn't need to play right away. He can sit behind Greg Van Roten, but let's get him in there eventually. And then with that comp pick, took a swing on Jalen Milroe to finish off round 3. Right, taking a chance on an elite athlete with a big arm, and hopefully you get something out of him in a couple years. And then you start off day 3. Let's go back to the trenches. Aeneas Peebles, right, pass rushing defensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. And then, round 5, Billy Bowman Jr., the safety out of Oklahoma, just a draft crusher of mine. I know it's not a need, but it's just a guy I want on the team. And then with my 2 7-round picks, I'm going rivals. Florida versus FSU. Cam Jackson, the big nose tackle out of Florida, run stopper, and then getting my kicker and Ryan Fitzgerald. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, please. We're trying to build the channel back up, right? Again, by the end of draft month, by the end of the UDFA pods, because we do UDFA pods, and we're streaming every minute of the draft, and there's going to be more draft breakdowns. So this is your draft spot, draft previews. Want to get to 37,000 subscribers on this channel. I believe it. I believe we can do it. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you when we see you. Until then, let's go Big Blue.